Before there was thunder in the sky or salt in the sea, the world trembled under the brutal rule of Cronus, king of the Titans. One by one, Cronus devoured his own children, swallowing them whole to silence the prophecy that one day one of them would rise against him and take his throne. And so Poseidon, god of the sea, was born not into light, but into the suffocating dark. He was consumed at birth, entombed alive in his father's belly, sealed in a prison of silence with his siblings, Hades, Hera, Demeter, and Hestia. Only Zeus, the youngest, was hidden away at birth, spared from the fate that bound the rest. When Zeus came of age, he did not return as a son, he returned as a storm. He struck with fury and cunning, forcing Cronus to regurgitate each of his swallowed children. One by one, they returned to the world, gods reborn from darkness. Poseidon emerged gasping, wreathed in mist and salt, born again not as a victim, but as a warrior. The world around him was already tearing itself apart. The gods rallied against the Titans, and war split the very bones of the earth. The sky screamed. Volcanoes wept fire, mountains shattered, oceans boiled. This was the Titanomachy, a war of gods and giants, of time and thunder that raged for 10 endless years. Poseidon, newly freed, took up arms without hesitation. He raised his hands to the sea, and it obeyed. With every strike, he summoned tidal waves that swallowed coastlines. With every bellow, whirlpools opened like mouths, devouring Titan legions whole. He fractured cliffs, he drowned armies. He was fury incarnate, the sea made flesh. But the Titans were ancient, born from the bones of the cosmos. Their power rivaled even the fury of Olympus. Victory was slipping. So Zeus made a desperate choice. He descended into the abyss of Tartarus and freed the Cyclopes, the divine smiths who had once been chained by Cronus himself. In gratitude, the Cyclopes forged weapons fit for a new age. To Zeus, they gave the thunderbolt, a weapon of light and sky that could tear the heavens in half. To Hades, the helm of darkness, a crown that made him unseen even by death itself. And to Poseidon, they gave the Trident. It was not just a weapon, it was a crown forged from sea foam and starlight, cooled in the blackest depths of the ocean and etched with power from the dawn of time. It could still the waves with a whisper, or bring tsunamis crashing down with a roar. It could fracture the sea floor, awaken tremors beneath mountains, or summon storms with a flick of the wrist. With it, Poseidon became something more than a god. He became a force. With trident in hand, he returned to battle, and the tide turned. The gods rose like a storm. Cronus was cast down. The Titans were broken, bound in chains, and hurled into the pit they once ruled. The world, battered and burned, fell silent. The age of the gods had begun, but victory brings its own danger. Power had been won, but not yet divided. Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon stood on the shattered edge of the world and cast lots for the realms of creation. Zeus drew the sky, Hades claimed the underworld, and to Poseidon fell the sea. Some say he smiled, others say he clenched his fists below the waves. The oceans were vast, yes, but untamed, deep, lonely, relentless. A realm not of praise but of fury, not of peace, but of storms. Poseidon accepted the burden, but beneath the surface, his ambition stirred like a brewing tide. He built a kingdom in the abyss, a palace of coral and gold, guarded by beasts of the trench, watched by the flickering lights of deep-sea fire. From that throne, Poseidon ruled more than just the waves. He ruled earthquakes, seaquakes, tides, riptides, the unseen forces that twist the earth from below. He was no longer the child devoured by fate. He was Poseidon, earthshaker, stormcaster, lord of the deep. But power never sleeps, and while he ruled the sea, his gaze had never truly left the land. But Poseidon's story did not end with the division of the world. The sea was vast, but above the waves, the land still whispered challenges, and Poseidon was not finished claiming his place. He rose from the depths and cast his eyes upon the cities of men. Mountains, valleys, forests, they stirred something in him, a hunger not just to rule, but to be remembered, not just feared, but worshipped. His first great rival would be found not in battle, but in beauty. Athens, a city of promise, stood poised to choose its divine protector, and Poseidon, with salt crusted on his skin and thunder coiled in his voice, offered a gift. He struck the rock of the Acropolis with his trident, and from the stone erupted a spring, a fountain of seawater wild and foaming, a symbol of dominion, a roar from the ocean's heart, a testament to the untamable. But then came Athena, calm, measured, wise. She knelt beside the people and planted a seed. From it grew an olive tree, slow, silent, rooted in peace and provision, a gift of nourishment, of wisdom, of endurance. The people chose her. Poseidon's fury shook the hills, tides surged, thunder cracked the horizon, winds howled for 3 days. But the decision held. He had offered force, she had offered future, and Poseidon, the god of storms, learned the pain of stillness. He withdrew into the ocean, not in defeat, but in thought. He wandered his kingdom restlessly, sculpting trenches with his trident, raising islands from the sea floor. He forged beasts of wonder, horses that thundered across the waves, sea serpents with eyes like molten gold. He bred creatures that lived only in darkness, glowing, sharp, watching the land above. He crafted whirlpools with a whisper, tsunamis with a breath. When men angered the gods, he sent waves that washed away their monuments. When cities broke oaths, he split the land beneath them and swallowed their pride whole. He was not cruel, but he was not merciful either. In one tale, the island of Atlantis grew arrogant, its kings claiming glory not from the gods, but from themselves. Poseidon waited, and when their towers grew too tall, he spoke, not with words, but with silence. And then he drowned it, a single wave that erased an empire. The temples sank, the songs were smothered, and the ocean forgot their names. He ruled not with vengeance, but with balance. And yet, even Poseidon knew loneliness. The sea teemed with life, but echoed with solitude. Zeus held court in Olympus. Hades ruled a kingdom of souls. But Poseidon, he ruled shifting tides, ungrateful sailors, and silence. He married Amphitrite, a goddess of grace, deep and still. Together they bore children, Triton, messenger of the waves, and daughters who guided the currents like thread. He fathered monsters and heroes alike, Cyclopes with endless vision, serpents that coiled beneath continents, even Pegasus, the winged horse, born of sea foam and blood, free as wind and storm. Some feared him, others prayed to him, but none ignored him. In every crashing wave, he was there. In every earthquake, he stirred. And though Zeus ruled the skies and Hades claimed the dead, it was Poseidon who carved the edges of the earth. His trident still hums beneath the waves, his palace still glows in the black, and his story still surges with the tides. He is not just a god, he is the deep. Poseidon, earthshaker, stormbringer, lord of the sea, and his name will never be lost to the world, not while the waves still rise.